attention. This is how a chick drink water in this hot weather. Most of y'all can't even spell water. What's going on, YouTube? It's Nickelodeon, and I'm back with another recap. And this recap is about Braxton Family Values Season 5. I believe it was episode 24. And this episode was extremely touching and extremely sad. Tony Braxton was talking about she had another lupus flare up, and it's affecting her vocal cords, and it got to the point where she was afraid and very scared, and her voice has been really raspy and scratchy for a good while. And her sisters, I think that her sisters was kind of telling her to rest and trying to tell her not to worry. And Tony's like, no, no, this is different. Like, I did rest, and nothing's changing. So when I heard about that, I just immediately just felt like tearing up, and just felt for Tony Braxton, because this is Tony Braxton, living legend, child, like Tamar always say. And for her voice to be gone, that's like, her career like deteriorating, and it was very sad. you know um Another part of the episode was Miss Evelyn, their mother, and I like how the sisters can kind of get together and discuss any misunderstanding and stuff like that without any beef going on, And it was just Miss Evelyn, Tamar, Tony, and all of the other sisters at the table, and I believe it was Tamar who brought up the fact about why she left Mexico. She asked her mother why she left Mexico, and her mother was like, like, I just wasn't having it. I didn't. His her husband's wife was there, and she felt uncomfortable, and she just wasn't having it. You know what I mean? And she straight up told them why she left, and Tamar was kind of like, well, you should talk to Tony because she invited her. You know what I mean? And that's not what she meant. She didn't mean like she invited her to Mexico. She invited the father's new wife to dinner. Now, the father invited his new wife to Mexico. So, Tony kind of cleared that up. She's like, no, 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 mommy, to dinner, not to Mexico. And that's how it went down there. But they just pretty much just had an open discussion about any misunderstandings that happened in Mexico. Tony was talking about how she was glad that they could finally actually sit down and discuss their feelings about how they felt about their father's new wife. And she was talking about how they never really got a chance to talk to her about how they felt about his situation. And just kind of recapping on the Mexico trip, and how she said, I think it was Tamar who said she really felt for Trina, because she's saying like their father openly admitted that he chose his new wife over Trina, because Trina, of course, invited her father to her wedding, but then she said that his new wife could not come to their wedding, and he all of a sudden just didn't come at all. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because if my father didn't come to my wedding, that would crush me into pieces. That would crush me into pieces. But you gotta be understanding of their life as well. You know what I mean? you got to be understanding of their life as well. That's he separated from your mother, and he started a separate life, and he got married again, and he wants y'all to accept his new wife, just like you want him to accept your husband. And that's a point that he brought up in Mexico when he was talking to Trina, and he said, um, I don't get involved in y'all relationships when when y'all having disputes in your relationships with with your man and whatever. And he's saying, like, I don't expect y'all to get involved in my business either. you know and that kind of made sense to me. You got to respect his new wife. You got to respect his new wife. And then he's upset about it, and he's like, if they can't accept my new wife, then they can't accept me. And I think that was uh a big point of why he didn't go to Trina's wedding. I think that he was trying to make a point. Look, y'all got to accept my new wife, or else, he was making a big statement by saying, I'm not going. And I'm pretty sure that hurt him, but he had to make his point. He had to make his point. And I'm not sure if the sisters is still getting it. I think they may be still kind of holding a grudge against Daddy Braxton. I'm not sure if they are still willing to accept his new wife. They still very hurt, and still a whole lot of open wounds, you know, and I can understand that. I don't think that they'll ever get over the fact that their mom and dad is not together anymore, but they just have to accept the fact that mommy and daddy is not together anymore, you know, and be big girls and be strong sisters and support each other, because they can get through this. They can definitely get through this. you know. And I think the other part of the episode went on to talking about Tawanda and her divorce with her husband. It was getting pretty dirty. It was getting pretty down and dirty. Her husband was definitely playing hardball, and he was asking for ridiculous requests. I think one of the things he said was that he wanted full custody of the kids. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. And I think pretty much all of the sisters and the mother was like, mm-mm, fight, fight against that. Because I think that's one thing that Tawanda cherishes more than all of those homes she owned, more than all of that money that she earned. She want to be a mother, and she love her kids. Regardless, Tawanda does travel, and Tawanda does work, but she does love her children, and she does want to be a mother. So she gonna fight that to the end. Then I believe her husband was also asking for some property. I think they had a property in Maryland, and it was another property that her husband wanted. And I think she was talking to her mother about some advice as to how she should deal with her husband. I can't remember his name right offhand. And her mother was saying, be nice to him. She's like, be nice to him. And when she said that, it was kind of like, you want me to be nice to somebody that I want to chop their head off because they're asking for a ridiculous request, and they just won't accept the fact that our marriage is not working, and he's trying to give me a hard way to go, and you're telling me to be nice, you know? But Miss Evelyn is smart. And Miss Evelyn is trying to give Tawana some game and to help her get through this process, get it over with and done, and get this man out of her life so that she can move on and lead a happy life, you know. And, you know, I've never quite heard anybody um, give advice for a divorce quite that way. But when you think about it, it makes sense. You kill them with kindness, you know. She said, be nice and just be nice, and you know, hopefully he will compromise, and hopefully y'all can get through this divorce smoothly. You know, hmm. I can't remember if it was too much going on with Tracy. Can't remember if it was too much going on with Tracy. But that's pretty much it. Braxton's Family Values, season 5. I believe it was episode 24 or something like that. Y'all let me know if I missed anything, or if it was any point that you want to bring up about that particular episode. What did you feel about that particular episode? Thank you so much for watching. Deuces.